This man is a bona fide AFL champion. He is the reigning Brownlow Medal winner, which is the highest award in the sport. He's an avid Swiss ambassador. He's a mental health advocate, and recently he has taken on his biggest role, fatherhood.
When people talk about love at first sight, I never quite understood it, but when George was born, it was like all of a sudden, nothing else in the world mattered, and if you needed to give your life away, then you'd do it in a heartbeat.
And were you there? Were you a good support team for Marty in the thick of it all?
Yeah, I was there. I was on the half-forward flank. I wasn't quite, right there, but you certainly have a great appreciation for what our lovely ladies go through, and really, we are weak as blokes. Seeing him smile and doing nappies and making sure that he's covered while you're doing the nappies, because, and they start peeing when you're changing nappies. It just goes everywhere. Yep, several times.
Fountain. Hasn't hit you though?
No, it's hit me. It's hit me. I would love to have the sort of relationship with my son that I have with my father. Started kicking the footy as a young fella, and now it's most things I ever do, I run by him first. He has the words of wisdom. We are tight. We do, so much together. I'd love to have that sort of relationship with him. I hope I do. Well, my happy place is it's Moggs. It always has been. Even more so now that George has been born. I love my time in Adelaide. I spent 8 years there. But I suppose for Marty and I, it was getting something more than just footy out of life, and that's sort of what Adelaide was. It was really, it was a wonderful place to live, but so footy focused. It's doing things that give me mental clarity. And that's always sort of been fishing and surfing, because when I'm doing those things, I'm not focusing on anything else. Your mind doesn't wander. It's just a clarity of, I'm trying to catch this fish, or I'm trying to catch this wave. As soon as I see that ocean, it's like, it is. It's like a big
deep breath.
It is, honestly. It's like a deep breath for your soul, and all of a sudden, as sappy as that sounds, it's so true. Do you feel relaxed now?
Oh, look, just being down here, I feel relaxed. So it's not about fishing, Patrick.
No,
it's about
mental clarity.
being in the moment.
In the AFL industry, people talk about courage, running back with the flight of the ball, or putting yourself in harm's way. Courage, I think, is people standing up and saying that we've got a few issues and they need to take a step back at different stages. And we've seen that over the past 12 months with quite a few footballs. And I look at that and go, that's true courage. I don't think there's been a person that hasn't at some stage experienced, that feeling of melancholy or disappointment or uncertainty. And as an elite sportsman, you face that often. So you need to find someone, for one, to talk to and to, discuss these things with, rather than just totally bottle it up, because at some point it reaches a tipping point, and sort of happened 4 or 5 years into my career, where it all just got too much. So you need to find that person to be able to have those conversations with. And we're very lucky as AFL players, the contacts that we have through the AFLPA, and you can visit sports sites, which I've found so valuable, because when I was living in Adelaide as a really young player, I wanted mum and dad to be mum and dad. Like, they wanted that to be their job. I wanted my teammates to be my teammates and coaches to be coaches. So actually employing the services and going to see someone separate to that, I found so beneficial. The industry is about perfection and wins and losses. At the end of the day, you're judged on whether your team is up or down. A lot of the time when you win, it can cover plenty of cracks, but when you lose, everything comes under the microscope, and it's so consuming.
What would you say to other young people that might be feeling a little bit like they're on their own and they're struggling and they don't know what to do and they're a bit embarrassed to talk? What would your suggestion be? Put
your hand up, I think. I think society is far more accepting now of people putting their hand up and saying, you know what, I'm not travelling super well, I need a little bit of help. We've come a long way. We're lucky to live in the community that we do now, because people get it. They get the fact that we all go through different emotions at different stages, so you've got to be able to put your hand up and say, I'm struggling a bit, and I think people are accepting of that. We've got to understand, I've got to understand that for a lot of people, footy is actually their escape, and that's what takes their mind off work, and they live it through the performances of the team. So when the team's not going well, all of a sudden what their escape was isn't enjoyable at all. So there's so many different ways to look at it, why you're put under pressure, but it shows everyone.